2, 3. We want to welcome everybody to Mom and Dad Talk to our favorite two people, our mom and dad. We're giving them a little break because I got to have not a break from them, but I got to do something. Anyway, we have Carlin and Alfred here today. Carlin, our favorite subject that we like to talk about, Coach Sanders and his family. He is a man of God, and he doesn't make no bones about it. We love it. Plus, two, he helps a lot of people out, and he's trying to show he's exposing the ugly truth that everybody doesn't want to tell you about, sports that we have today in college football and basketball, a lot of stuff. But what are your thoughts, man?
Well, I mean, you talking about his family or about him right now?
Well, really about his son. First of all, he made the Pro Bowl. Okay.
Yeah. And okay. He was an alternate for the Pro Bowl, but okay, let's start there.
Yeah.
I know that the just like politics and everything else today, everybody's so extreme. I'm worn out over it. Like, we can't have adult conversations. Everything's either we have an acquaintance. I won't call him a friend. Mm-hmm. We have an acquaintance who happens. Yeah, I'm talking about who lives in Jacksonville, Florida, right? An attorney, a so-called attorney who hates Deion and Shedeur, and finally came out on social media and said why he hates Deion, because he don't like the Cowboys. I can actually respect that because it's sports hate. I'm a Michigan fan. I hate Ohio State, right? Okay, fine. But he hates Shedeur and it's personal, and I don't understand why, right? Like, you don't have to even like the kid. I mean, the kid doesn't get in any trouble. He's respectful. He goes out and does his work. Yeah, he's confident. Yeah, he wears diamond necklaces. Yeah, he's got cornrows. But then that starts to get into the thing of why you hate him so much, right? Because you don't like his culture. You don't like his style. And that says a lot about you. Like, you don't have to like him, but to hate him over that means that you hate his style of person because he hasn't done anything to anybody, right? Okay, so we start there. Him making the Pro Bowl, if we're being honest and having an adult conversation here, you got to understand the Pro Bowl ain't what it used to be.
Right.
Ever since Sean Taylor took the head off of that punter, the Pro Bowl has changed.
Yeah.
Dudes are like, it ain't worth it. $25,000 ain't enough for me to almost die out here, right? So, yeah, the trip is good, but I can pay for a trip to Hawaii. I make enough money. So, ever since Sean Taylor, decapitated that poor punter, it ain't been the same. And dudes are like, hey, yeah, I'm going to pass on the Pro Bowl. So then they watered it down to become this flag football, the display of skill, which it is, right? But most of the top guys are either injured by the end of the season or will pass on it to avoid injury. So that's how Shedeur got in. And let's be honest, but what people forget is it still had to be voted
by three different parties. That's
right. And it's 33.3% coaches, 33.3% players, and 33.3% fans. So you can say all the Glazers and all this other stuff and the fanboys, they only got 30% of the vote. So what are you going to say about the players who played against him? What are you going to say about the coaches who coached against him? Now they don't know what they're talking about, right? So that's why all the extreme noise, you got to shut it out. Shedeur, based upon those who declined or were injured above him, deserved to be there.
Yeah.
Period. So deal with it, right? And he didn't rub it in anybody's faces. He didn't. But when you see the footage of him there, he's actually part of the face of the league. I'm saying part of the face of the league. The fans love him. The kids love him. He's unique. He's got his, he's branded, right? He's got his own celebration, and everything. And he is talented.
Yeah.
The kid can spin the ball.
Yes.
Now, you can try if you want to spin anything in this life. I can make you, Todd. I can make you look like the greatest guy in the world. I can make you look like the worst guy in the world. Yeah. It depends on what we highlight. So when you say he had 7 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, he had a losing record, he had a low QBR, blah, 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 he's trash. That's what your friend in Jacksonville says. You know what else he is? He also ended the season on a 2-game winning streak, beating 2 divisional opponents, one of which will be in the Hall of Fame, both made Aaron Rodgers and Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
And he had more wins combined this year in 7 starts than the other QBs combined for the Cleveland Browns. So which is it? Is he really good or is he really bad? He's somewhere in between.
But Carlin, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The things came out about Stefanski. We don't know if they're true or not, but you can just see what's going on is that the simple fact that he wasn't allowed the first starters. Okay. You start hearing grumblings that he couldn't even play with the second stringers and that he was put on hold a whole lot and he had to work with, a lot of people that, were not like first string starters there. You know what I'm saying?
Todd,
And
let's go on and use the facts.
okay.
Let's use the facts.
Okay.
Okay? The haters will go, he was a fifth round quarterback. He was a fifth round pick. He didn't deserve to get first string reps. Okay. Fine. So he was throwing to the trainers and the water boys in camp. He
Yes, sir.
was.
Hmm.
But you know who was getting first team reps? Their third round QB pick, Dylan Gabriel. He was getting first team reps along with Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett, who were both ahead of him, right? Who both ended up getting traded away, right? So now you only got one quarterback, right, getting first team reps, and Shedeur Sanders still didn't get first team reps. As a backup, just in case, not to compete with so make that make sense. Then you look at this: the Pro Football Focus ranked the Cleveland Browns offensive starting cast 32nd in the league. That's offensive line, running backs, tight ends, and wide receivers. And that's what Shedeur had to play with. The worst offensive team in the NFL. In addition to the fact that his number one wide receiver was hurt, his number two wide receiver was hurt, his number one running back was hurt, his number two running back was hurt, and his entire offensive line was hurt. So he was playing with third stringers by the time he got in to start at almost every position. And the only position that he had, the number one starter, his wide receiver, Jerry Jeudy, had more drops than catches. He led the league in drops as a wide receiver one. Those were his options. And he still had 3 wins out of 7 starts, which is almost a 50% winning ratio. And a 2-game winning streak against divisional opponents at the end. In addition, Stefanski wouldn't even utter his name. Yeah. He never mentioned the kid's name till the last 2 weeks of the season. He was his starter for 7 weeks in a row. Never mentioned the kid's name. Didn't give him a game ball when he threw for over 300 yards. Right? And then on top of that...
And that wasn't done... Rookie hadn't done that in, about a decade or so?
And no, it was longer than that. It was like 15 years.
Yeah.
So even in there are times where he did throw some bad interceptions, right? He's a rookie with no first team reps, using the worst offense in the NFL. Yeah, he's gonna throw a couple of. Here's what I say I want people to look at. I have 2 friends that play. I mean, I have a bunch of friends that play in the NFL, but I have 2 friends that play in the NFL who I talk to about this. When they sent him out on the field with the wrong wristband of plays,
wow!
I called my friend who played for the Cowboys and for the Rams, and I said, What is the possibility, the probability of a quarterback going out onto the field with the wrong set of plays on his wrist? He said less than 0. He said it can't happen. He said that those things are printed out on Thursday. They use it on the walkthrough on Saturday. And then there's 2 of them that are printed up just in case one gets damaged. He said, if you got the wrong set of plays, it's because they wanted you to have the wrong set of plays. He said there's literally no way for that mistake to happen. You don't even carry the wrong set of plays to the stadium that morning. This is a guy who played in the NFL. I talked to another guy who happened to be an all-pro at one point in time. And I said to him, what is the possibility? He's like, man, don't even ask me this question. He was like, they guard that stuff like a vault. He's like the wristband gets printed out by the assistant to the offensive coordinator. They check it, they put it on, they use it in the walkthrough. Same thing that my other friend said. He said there is no chance whatsoever that Shedeur walked out onto the field with the wrong wristband on accident.
And then they made it public on top of that to make it look like he's a buffoon. Let's just be real. Kevin Stefanski obviously was rewarded because there's had to be something, because you can't have a guy with a losing record that's that bad of a coach, in all of this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you a slightly different opinion very quickly, Todd. I actually don't think that Kevin Stefanski is a racist. I don't believe that. I don't, because his dad was an NBA executive for a lifetime.
Hmm.
He grew up around black athletes. So I
Wait. I mean, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that, Carl. I'm just
no
saying.
no no no. I'm
Like,
not. I'm saying that as the rock bed for what I'm about to say about
okay.
Stefanski.
Okay.
The two-time coach of the year, I really don't put a lot of stock in that because you can improve a really bad team and be coach of the year. And that's what the Cleveland Browns were. He's got what, one playoff win in like
Hmm.
6 years? And he was coach of the year. So which one is it? Here's what I believe. I believe that this is all about pride. I believe he thought
Hmm.
Dylan Gabriel was his guy, and he was
Hmm.
completely wrong about it. And because he was completely wrong and did not pick Shedeur Sanders was not his
Hmm.
pick, I believe he did everything in his power to suppress Shedeur Sanders simply because Shedeur wasn't his guy. That wasn't his pick. And if you picked a guy in the fifth round and he makes your guy that you picked the third round look bad, it makes you look bad as a coach. Makes you look dumb.
Well, I mean, he still got fired. I mean, at the end of the day, it's almost like the NFL rewarded him for being a bad coach, giving him the Atlantic Falcons job, where the guy that was there actually had a better record. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, but the Cleveland Browns are a poorly run organization. Again, I'm not making excuses for Stefanski. I'm just telling it like it is.
Hmm.
They had Belichick.
Hmm.
They had Mangini. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They had Salah, I believe, at one point in
But,
time.
but but just to remember though, I think Belichick was with the organization we call the Baltimore Ravens right now during that regime.
Well, they were the Browns before they were the Ravens. I hear what you're saying, the iteration. Here's my point.
Yeah.
The Browns stink as an organization. Jimmy Haslam is terrible.
Yes.
Terrible. You know, he's minority owner of the Milwaukee Bucks and they couldn't get a trade deal done for Giannis. So that's a whole nother situation. He's a terrible, terrible owner.
Yes.
They've had coaches that have come in and done better. They've had quarterbacks that come in and done better elsewhere. Baker Mayfield. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? He
And,
did.
and
He was
Baker
the one
Mayfield
that
says
endorsed
nothing
the
good
deal with
about
Deshaun
Stefanski.
Watson.
Yeah, but Baker Mayfield says nothing good about Stefanski at all.
No, no, no. Again, I'm not calling Stefanski. I think Stefanski is a competent coach. I think when you look at the coaching carousel out there, could he be a head coach today? Yeah, yeah, he could. And I think it's the most terrible. Since we're talking about him, I think the most terrible hire, other than Robert Saleh for the Titans, is Stefanski going to Atlanta. They are going to chew him up and spit him out. Like that culture. That's the house that Dion built.
Hmm. Oh yeah, and you're in the backyard. So I mean, it's like you can't get more in your face and more like you treated his son bad, and everybody says you're not really a great coach like that. And it's as we get ready to move on from this unfortunate situation here. I mean, I really appreciate what Coach Sanders has done and what he's trained the kids and his family. He's done a great job of mentoring, man, and doing opening up. He didn't have to open up his life like that to show the good, the bad, and the ugly about pro sports. We wish him well with his health journey and everything like that. And the fact of it is, this is a Christian show, and Christians don't always have the Christian side told about it. And the way I think his son showed, what I'm saying, he didn't complain. He could have easily brought all that stuff out and told his story. He could have gone on social media and people would have believed him. Period. But he didn't. He worked with what he had. That says a lot about this young man, and I hope he gets a fair chance with Monken. Hopefully that works out. But what are your final thoughts, Carlin, as we get ready to close?
All I've ever wanted for Shedeur Sanders is to have a chance. I can't say the word fair because life isn't fair.
Hmm.
Everybody hasn't had a fair chance in the NFL. So I mean, I don't put him in on a pedestal. But the kid is clearly talented. He's always
Hmm.
been talented. And for those that are like, oh, he's not that good or whatever, your favorite, go back and look at who offered him scholarships when he first came out of high school. Your favorite team probably offered him a scholarship because he
Yes.
had them from everywhere and everyone.
Yes.
Okay. I finally want to see this kid with a decent offensive line, right? With some weapons around him and
Hmm.
first team reps and a full off season with an offensive coordinator that's going to be there. And when we do that, then we can make the fair assessment as to whether or not this kid has a long career ahead of him. That's all I want. That's all I
Hmm.
want for him. And I think he's going to get it. And I think that's going to be the NFL is starting to realize he's good for business. And when that happens, you're going to get your opportunity.
And like I said, I like his confidence. I think, a lot of times people try to, steal your joy. The Bible says, don't let anybody steal your joy. This is a great example of staying positive, regardless about the lies being told upon you, and let your work speak for itself. He didn't make any excuses. He says, you know what, I will get better. And you know what? Good for him that this stuff is finally coming out about the foolishness that he's been dealing with. And haters, yeah, I know you're going to hate because, there's a deeper side to this than just him being confident.
Yep.
Okay. And let's just talk about the elephant in the room. All right, folks. There's a lot of people that are just as confident. Tom Brady is confident, but you don't talk about him the same way. Oh, he's proved. No, remember, Tom Brady was confident when he came in for Drew Bledsoe, so he's not getting his job back. It's documented he said that, and he meant every word of it. And yet, and still, people were like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. But he had a chip on his shoulder, too, because nobody believed in him. So, like I said, in fact, Tom Brady didn't even have a chance to get him. He had it. But you know what, folks? I'm wishing the young man great. And it just speaks about something about your peace and joy, folks. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Be confident God's going to show up. You just keep on doing the right thing. Till next time, we'll see you on Mom and Dad Talks. Thanks, CJ. Bye, everyone.